one thing that I know for certain is life's too short to be worrying about you hurting for long. Oh, it's already gone. Got time, but money's not something that's free. Seems the roll of the dice never rolls back to me. And oh, it's already gone. A bird in my hand, two cans in the other, start spinning around. Now here comes another, and oh, it's already gone. And here comes the feeling when you don't got nothing, and all you want to do is get up and start running. You can't hang long cause you know it's gonna start up again. Here's one thing that I know for certain is life's too short to be worrying about you hurting for long. Oh, it's already gone. And all you want to do is get up and start running. You can't hang long cause you know it's gonna start up again. Here's one thing that I know for certain is life's too short to be worried about you hurting for long. Well, it's already gone. Already gone. It's already gone.
What's up, Jags fans? We are here ready to go. I hope you guys have recovered from the Monday night mess that happened a few days ago. We grieve and then we move on. Now we're on to the Browns. Future's in front of us. We're ready to go. We got film loaded up. We're going to look at the Browns a little bit. We're going to talk about the Jags a little bit. And we're going to do all of these things tonight. It's a fan show. Get in the chat. You can see some people are already in the chat. I want to hear your comments. I want to hear what you think. You think Trevor will play? You think Trevor should play? Do you think we have a chance against the Browns? What do we have to do to beat the Browns? What are your projections going forward? The floor is yours. Anything you want to say regarding the Jags, I'd love to hear. The injury report is long, but I'm not worried. I think our offense is kind of set up well for what the Browns kind of give up, and we'll take a look at that here in a second. Before we do, I always got to pump the social media. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so that you get a notification when the shows go live. If you're a calendar keeper like me, Tuesdays and Friday nights at 9, we do shows. So go ahead and mark your calendars, set your alarms. We're going to be here talking Jags all season long, twice a week. It's a great time. It's your first show. I hope you enjoy. If it's not your first show, welcome back. Follow the Twitter. Follow the Instagram. All that other junk. And as you know, you can get in there. Okay, so I want to read a couple of comments. I want to look at something. I want to look at the film. I want to look at something again, and then I'm going to read more comments. So those of you that like an outline of what's happening, that's what's going to happen. So we always shout out the first person in the chat. First person in the chat is C Breacher, who's a channel member who says, yo, back to back, first person in the chat. C Breacher was also in my Twitch chat last night. I think I streamed on Twitch for 5 hours last night. So, yeah, get a life. I get it. You can follow my Twitch. It's in the video description. You can click on it. I'm on there a lot of nights. We have a lot of fun. We talk Jags amongst other things. Robbie Santis says here. Rajib says, let's go, baby. Duval, so excited for the Browns film. No idea what to expect. A little sneak peek. I don't really either. I don't know who they're playing at quarterback. They're doing this weird thing where they demoted Joe Flacco back to the practice squad, but I was browsing the Browns subreddit, and they seem to think that Joe Flacco is going to start again. I don't know. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, is he going to start? I really don't know. So we're going to do the best we can with what we have. If we have learned one thing this week, you can't take backup quarterbacks too lightly. That's for sure. Robbie Santis goes on to say, so glad I get to listen to this on my long commute home. Well, Robbie, drive safe, and I'm glad that you're here. Donald Gelsey says, what's up, Jags United? Not much, man. I'm having a good night. He said, just win. Go Jags. Robert Atzert says, hell yeah. Stadium wasn't getting loud enough in the last game. We need more light shows. I will say the light show was a little disappointing. It was cool and all, but it was just like pulsing flashlights. And I guess it's the best you can do, but like I was underwhelmed. I guess I had built up. I had heard it was going to be awesome, but I was being loud all game. I yelled loud every single defensive play for the full game and in overtime. And you can ask people I was with. I'm that annoying fan that yells when we're on defense. Care Bear Sheriff says, let's go, Jags. Cali Jag says, let's go. Oh, UCF Jaguars in the chat. Oh, I love it. UCF Jaguar. You guys know UCF Jaguar. You guys probably came here from UCF Jaguar's channel. If you didn't, for some weird reason, make sure you follow him. He does great stuff. He does all kinds of things. He's so versatile, a very versatile YouTuber. He can do live shows during the game. He can talk with other fan bases. He had probably the most popular Jaguar YouTuber out there. So make sure you follow him. Shay, channel members in the chat. We always love when Shay's here. He says, would you rather have DTR or Flacco starting? I would rather have Dorian Thompson-Robinson starting. We're going to look at that here in a second. 100%. Flacco's not afraid to throw the deep ball. I don't know if DTR can. He hasn't been very good. So I would rather have DTR starting. Flacco at least is like smart enough to not turn the ball over. I know he threw that interception late in the game against the Rams, but like whatever. Rajib says, I don't mind resting Trevor, but the way he's looking, you might as well let him play. Well, the problem is like the Browns are only a game behind us. We're only a game ahead of the Texans and the Colts. And like, it's close right now. Like, I don't know if we can afford to rest Trevor. Like, initially, my thought was rest Trevor. But we're looking at Walker Little being out. We're looking at ETN being injured. We're looking at, we have all kind of injuries. I don't know if you can afford to sit him. I mean, even if he just takes every snap and shotgun and everything's just a sweep pass, a screen pass, a draw. I know we can't run up the middle, but I think when we look at this film here in a second, you're going to see the things that the Jags do to compensate for the lack of inside running game. The Browns are actually weak at defending, which is good news. Good news. RM Skip, who's also, we love our channel members. Channel members, thank you. I appreciate that. Big shout out to you. He says, what's up, United? We're here. Do you wish T-Law to play, or do you feel CJ Beathard is enough to let him rest up? I want Trevor to play if he can. I'm going to leave it up to the medical staff and Trevor. So they know things we don't. I'm not a doctor yet. I'm not Trevor yet, but they're going to discuss it. They're going to make the right decision. If he could potentially hurt himself for more, I would say sit him. But this is a big game, man. Like, you can't take, on the road, this is a big game. We're getting close to the end of the season. Doorman says, do you think Trevor at this point is where he can call a few series a game? As an offensive coordinator? Absolutely. Donald says, T-Law needs to play, but I understand if he doesn't. That's kind of where I'm at, Donald. Let Trevor cook, but Ezra was getting reps at left tackle, so damn. Yeah, I'm interested to see. I thought they would have gone with Blake Hance at left tackle and left Ezra at left guard, but apparently he was getting snaps at left tackle. Maybe that was like emergency situation. If Blake Hance gets hurt, then you might not have another left tackle. So maybe, and you have Tyler Shatley, who has a lot of experience, who can come in. Callie Jack says, I'm freaking out, man. Seabreacher says, is Myles Garrett playing? He was a full participant at practice today, and he wasn't even listed on the injury report. So I would say yes. Although, that being said, he didn't record a single tackle last week. I thought he didn't play last week, but he played last week. Didn't record a single tackle. He was actually very ineffective. Actually, he's been very ineffective the last 2 weeks. I know he's been hurt. He's got that shoulder injury, but very ineffective. This film breakdown will determine if I start Ridley in fantasy this week. Ooh, that's tough, man. I know it's getting late in the fantasy seasons. It's hard for me not to start Ridley. I have him as well. And I understand the frustrations. Trevor was amazing on Monday. I'm really impressed with his progress. I agree. All right, so let's take a look at something here. We had the question already about Dorian Thompson Robinson. Make sure I say his name right. But take a look at this kind of an overview of his performance. He's played in 4 games. He really has just started 3. He only took 1 snap against Seattle here. So we'll kind of omit this whole line right here. The 3 games where he started, he hasn't been that good. I mean, a 53% completion percentage, 109 attempts, 58 completions, only 429 yards, 3.9 yards per attempt. That's not very good. 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions. Now, this might be a little unfair with the 4 interceptions because he did have 3 of them in that first start against Baltimore. Since then, he's been basically 1 for 1. So that's what I'm going to kind of look at here. And people think he's this insane running threat. He's really not. I think he has 40 yards rushing total, something like that. They design run plays for him, but he hasn't been insanely effective as a runner. So just food for thought, things to look at here. Let's take a look at I think they'll start Flacco. So here's kind of what he can do, right? So we're going to take a look here. They're lined up. They like to run a lot of play action with Flacco. You're not going to see him in shotgun. Montana, $2 again in the super chat. Thank you, Montana. You're making this a habit. I mean, I appreciate it. He says the first super chat, not the first one in the comment, but the first to super chat. So Montana, thank you. I appreciate it. You know, I always thank you. I always appreciate it. It means a lot to me that you would give your hard-earned money to me, and more than money, which I appreciate. But you guys are giving your time to this channel. So thank you for that, because I know time is valuable. You only get 24 hours in a day. So I appreciate the fact that y'all spend some time with me, whether you're watching the live show or you're watching it on VOD after the fact. I appreciate it. All right, so we're going to play it out, and I'm going to go back because that's what I'm trying to be better at doing. So here's the play. We're going to play it out. All right, so this ends up being called a catch, but Flacco's not afraid to throw the deep ball here. All right, so play action. Elijah Moore, a little in, out, a little poco right here, as we like to call it, a little post corner. He's not afraid to throw it up to Elijah Moore. I mean, if we take a look here, this just in the Rams game, where is it here? Just in the Rams game, he had 4 passes over 20 yards to that right side. So whoever's playing on that right side, if Tyson Campbell doesn't play, whoever this is, Gregory Jr., Trey Herndon's injured, whoever this ends up being, got to be ready because Flacco's not afraid to air it out. And in the same vein, C.J. Beathard's also not afraid to air it out. So they're kind of similar in the fact that they're not afraid to throw the deep ball. They'll take the safer overthrow, but he'll throw it deep. He'll test your boundary corners and make sure that you're respecting the deep ball to open up the underneath stuff, the flat stuff, and things like that. So you have to be a little careful if you're one of those boundary corners. And I know they're watching the film, and they're going to do the same thing. But again, he also can do things like this, right? Same kind of formation, under center, runs the same type of play action. This is a little bit later in the game. They're down by, I think, 15 points at this point. And he just kind of throws it up. And it's an interception. So he also does this type of thing. But the bottom line is the Jags have to be ready. They can't give up a big play, and they can't be sleeping. Because if they do, Amari Cooper, I know he's been injured. He might not play. Elijah Moore, these types they have a rookie who's pretty good at stretching the field. You got to be careful here. You got to be careful. here's the good news. We'll stick with the offense for a bit. We'll stick with the offense, then we'll go to the defense and what I think will work for the Jaguars offense. So you have this play here. Great scheme here. They're just basically gonna kick out their tight end here, Harrison Bryant. And the reason why I point this play out is because the Jags gave up a very similar play in the Bengals game where Devin Lloyd got caught up looking at the play action and he lost his read of the tight end coming across the formation. I know Devin Lloyd watched the film. I know that he's looking out for this type of thing, hopefully now, but he's definitely got to be on alert because they'll do it here. Watch what they do. They bring him across the formation. Linebacker can't get there. Not ready. Touchdown. So they're going to have to be ready for this type of thing. They got to have to read. You talk about linebackers. They have to read their keys. You can't let tight ends squeak out of the backfield. They're going to do this type of thing because it's a safe play for a quarterback. Any type of play action, type of screen. I know it's not a screen, but a throwback on a shallow drag. This type of thing is what coaches design for quarterbacks they don't really want to force into bad situations. So here we're going to see, keep your eye on Jerome Ford, who is a good back. He's played really well since Nick Chubb got injured for the season, but he hasn't had a great last couple of weeks. Now, if you have him on your fantasy team, he's done okay for you, mainly because of this play right here. But as a runner, he hasn't been too effective between the tackles here. So just watch Jerome Ford under center like always. Flacco's going to they do a lot of pre-snap motion, play action. Again, the same type of play. Roll out and throw it back. Another coverage bust. You're gonna have to stay disciplined. You're gonna have to read your keys. Hopefully, put a little bit more pressure on him. But any quarterback can make this throw, including Joe Flacco. So we're gonna have to be careful. I mean, linebackers are gonna have to be disciplined. Everything's gonna be in the short game. Once they stretch the field on the corners and get the safeties backed up, it's gonna be on the linebackers. So be ready. Volkfang, channel member Volkfang, says defense can't make Joe Flacco look like they did with Jake Browning. Yeah, I would blame last week more on tackling. And Doug Peterson on the Doug Peterson show on Thursday night even talked about how the biggest improvement they need to make from Monday night was tackling. And if you watched our show on Tuesday night, I laid into the defense about tackling. I really did because tackling and blocking, I laid into them because those are effort things. Those aren't skill things. Like I know you have to be skilled to block and tackle. I get that. But all of these guys have been doing these things for a long time, and we have to tackle, which sounds like so obvious. But the Jags have been good at tackling all year, just weren't on Monday night. Chef Florida Boy says, I made it. Yes, you did, Chef Florida Boy. Yes, you did. D. Steiny says, I feel this offense is missing a Marvin Jones type receiver that's reliable in tough situations, and now Kirk is out. I was impressed with Washington Monday night. So we hope Parker Washington can fill in for that role, but we can't expect him to. Evan Ingram, Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones is going to have to step up. Like that's the bottom line. And they've been playing well. But they're going to have to play well if we're going to win. And if Parker Washington continues to play well, that's just an added bonus, in my opinion, here. We already saw this one. This is Harrison Bryant. David Njoku is obviously a good player. He's a guy that we're going to have to keep our eye on. Again, they love this play-action boot stuff. I mean, regardless of who's starting at quarterback, they're going to run this play-action boot. Again, this is why I started the show with the linebackers have to be disciplined. And I think after they watch the film of us against the Bengals, they're going to be like, okay, yeah, this is going to work, right? So Njoku's going to come across the formation here. He's kind of his safety blanket here, just releasing, holds the ball. I mean, they actually called him out of bounds right here, and so he doesn't get all this extra yards after catch. You can see the hurdle there at the end. If you take a look, his foot was out, but that's just unlucky. That's unlucky for Njoku. Maybe he was the first player out. I don't know what they called here, but He's an athlete, man. Good player, and you're going to have to keep your eye on him. You're going to have to keep your eye on Harrison Bryant, Elijah Moore. I mean, they got some pieces, man. They really do. They're going to – and I know everyone's going to talk about their defense. I'm going to get to their defense here in a second. But you got to be disciplined against this Browns team. That's the bottom line. You can still blitz. You can still zone drop. You can do all those things. But you have to read your keys on defense. You have to play a sound football game on defense. And if you do, the Browns will turn the ball over. But if you try to fly up the field, if you don't do your job, as Gus Bradley made popular, or Bill Belichick, whoever you want to give credit to, then they're going to expose you because they're going to play tight, safe football. I mean, they punted the ball a billion times in this game because the Rams had a lot of good plays, but those plays that I showed, they just weren't. Volkfang says tackling was atrocious. Most of those should have been 4-yard gains, not 7 or 8. I think it should be an outlier. I hope so. I really do hope that it is an outlier. Jaguars says, I've only been to 2 games this season, 49ers and Bengals, and my bad luck. I say this all the time, and I'm glad you brought this up. I say this all the time. Don't get caught up on you being bad luck, okay? I've been to most Jaguar games throughout the franchise history. As soon as I got old enough to be able to buy my own tickets. There was a stretch there in the 2010s where I was going to every game and they were losing every game. And I was like, oh man, am I a bad luck charm as they keep losing? But the bottom line is, like, they were just a bad team back then, okay? You going to those games, the 49ers and the Bengals, it's nothing to do with you. They just played bad those games. So don't get too caught up on that. Don't worry. We need you there. We need you at the games, being loud, so loud that the defense can't hear, or I don't know what the rumor is. Callie Jag says, it feels like we just don't get up for some games. The consistency doesn't feel like it's there. I like that word consistency. We talk about it all the time here on the show. Everyone in the NFL is talented, but not everyone in the NFL is consistently talented. So you're right. That's the key word there. You got to be consistent. Here's Amari Cooper on a post route. You're going to see him come into your screen a little bit late here. The only games I clipped film from was from this Rams game because there was nothing impressive about Dorian Thompson-Robinson in any of the other games, to be honest. I mean, I could have clipped defensive plays. If we look at the Browns' schedule here, I mean, it's weird. It's like underwhelming. Like, they got destroyed by the Rams. They got destroyed by the Broncos. They beat the Steelers by 3, who are not a good team. They blew out the Cardinals, who were playing bad then. Somehow they beat the Ravens. So it's hard to get a read on this Browns team. And the Browns have gone through different seasons within the season of Deshaun Watson being the quarterback. I know Nick Chubb got hurt early, but they're a weird team. You don't really know what to expect, and those can be some of the most dangerous teams. I mean, if they're looking at their roster, if you're a Browns fan, you're probably thinking the Jags are beatable. If you're a Browns fan, you know the Bears are beatable. You're probably thinking the Texans are beatable because they're below them in the standings for the playoffs. The Jets are definitely beatable, and they're definitely thinking they can beat the Bengals. So if you're a Browns fan, they're thinking they could win 4 of the next 5. So they are, regardless of who's playing quarterback. So they could be a dangerous team. You can't take them lightly. That kind of goes back to should Trevor play, and he probably should if he can. Now, here's one poor play from the Rams game that I think the Jags might be able to expose is, much like us, their center, Ethan Pochik, hasn't been good. If we can get some sort of interior push, maybe blitz. I mean, watch him on this play. I mean, this looks like Luke Fortner last week against the 49ers or the Bengals. I mean, that's not good. And again, I clipped this one play. I did notice that he wasn't great most of the game. I didn't really clip all of them, but we're going to have an opportunity to make some plays, especially with our active pass rush that we have. Aaron Donald wreaked havoc against the Browns. I didn't want to clip Aaron Donald clips because what am I going to sit here and talk about that Aaron Donald's good? I think we all know that Aaron Donald's good. Maybe not Urban Meyer, but the rest of us know that Urban Meyer or that Aaron Donald's good. C. Breacher says, I want a Billy Napier rant later in the stream. I've said how I feel about Billy Napier a bunch of times. Maybe at the end of the show. You guys know I don't like Billy Napier. And the first time I ever saw him coach a game at Florida, I realized he was in over his head. And you guys know me. I'm one of the last people to talk bad about coaches. I defend coaches till the bitter end. I really do. I really think it's about Jimmys and Joes, not X's and O's. I really do think that. But, man, you're not even keeping recruits that you recruited. We'll get to that maybe later. All right, let's move on to their defense here. All right, so here's some things that, I think we'll be able to expose. Sean McVay and the Rams saw something in this defense that they were able to expose. And I clipped, 6 of this type of play. But I could have clipped 20. We end up going through this film pretty quick on Friday nights, so I'm less motivated to keep clipping things. But so just believe me that these plays worked over and over again. And despite having one of the best edge rushers in the game with Myles Garrett, the Rams had an insane amount of success getting the ball to the edges. Okay? Here's what I mean. Here's your boy Puka on a jet sweep right here. All right? Terrible edge presence right there. Terrible edge presence. Take a look here again. Terrible edge presence. And we can even scroll it back. A guy who, this Okonkwo, I don't know how to say his name. He hasn't been that good on the edge on the other side. He was early in the season, but that's just poor recognition. And the Jags love running this jet sweep type stuff. They love it. So, be ready there. Be ready there. Here's a Puka again on a jet sweep. So, the Jags do this a lot because they cannot run the ball between the tackles. So, the jet sweeps with Ridley, probably Parker Washington will see a healthy amount of jet sweeps and types of quick screens and things like that. They're unable to do it. Here's them running to the edge. Okay, again, not really much success between the tackles, so they pitch the ball out to the edge. Good run here. For all the hype the Browns get on defense, they're not really good at setting the edge. I don't know if they're too aggressive, flying upfield, trying to get sacks. I don't know what it is. I don't know if the Rams are just really good at this type of blocking scheme, but they really are good at this. Here's another one. They don't gain as many yards here, but they obviously found, this is later in the game, they found a formula of success that works with these toss sweep plays. That's it. That's it right there. Another thing, again, I only clipped 2 of these plays, but the Rams threw the ball to the flat like every other play. If you don't know what the flat is, the flat is like this area of the field here and this area of the field here. So toward the sideline, 5 yards and less. The Browns don't do a great job covering there, okay? So here they go. Rams are in pistol. They do a bunch of pre-snap motion because it's Sean McVay, and why not? Throw it out to the flat. Again, this is the type of thing the Jags do a lot. The Jags do a lot of this throwing it out to the flat, a lot of this getting the ball in their playmakers' hands on the sidelines, letting them make a play. Here they are again. They're going to go to the flat again. So the Browns have a problem here. And they're going to try to fix it. They're going to see the film, but this recipe is going to work. And here's the good news. An injured Trevor / CJ Beathard is going to be designed for these types of plays. And if the Browns struggle covering, setting the edge, getting the ball when the ball is tossed out to the outside, having their corners or linebackers getting out to the flat, then we're going to be fine. We're going to be absolutely fine, and we'll probably be able to pick up yards and hold the ball for a long time. So we'll see. Jag Gator talking about the Gators says, yeah, see, Breacher, losing ETN and Princely, unacceptable. Gator football is so down. To be fair, the whole transfer in and out is going to become a thing in college football. I think I saw there's already like 4,000 kids in the transfer portal, which is insane. It's insane. So I think this is going to become the new norm in college football of just kids transferring and transferring and transferring and transferring. And you're going to have to be able to work the transfer portal. Look at Florida State. Mike Norvell is really good at working the transfer portal. You combine that with them having, I think they had like, I'm not kidding you, I think they had 15, maybe it's like 13, either 13 or 15 starters on the offense and defense were fifth-year seniors at Florida State. So they had a very experienced team. There was kids on that team that were older than NFL second-year players. So that's going to become how you build teams. You transfer in kids with the fifth year of eligibility. You stack your team with them. You make a 1-year run, and you try to do it again the next year. So I wouldn't get too worried about the kids transferring out because they'll probably get kids transferring in from other schools. Remember, Graham Mertz was a transfer in from another school. Osiris Torrance, the Jaguars offensive tackle who was drafted, or guard, was a transfer in. So, I mean, it's going to happen. The transfers are going to be a part of college football. College football has become an amateur league, and I'm not mad about it. And I'm just going to take a quick second here. I'm going to get back to the Jags in a second. Like, the problem with college football was always, for decades, that colleges wouldn't guarantee these kids 4-year scholarships. Their big claim to fame was they're getting an education. We're giving them a college education for free, so they have a responsibility to play football for us. But that's not true. They were not giving them a college education for free. They were giving them 1 year of college education for free as long as the coach kept them on the team. And that was the problem. So you can't blame kids for leaving when coaches would leave at the drop of a hat, and the schools could pull your scholarship if you got hurt. So I don't blame kids at all. The NCAA really messed up with that one little rule by not guaranteeing kids 4-year scholarships when they committed to a school. If they would have done that from the beginning, I think the whole college landscape picture would look a lot different. But that's on them. They got greedy. D. Steiny says, 2 questionable running backs. Time for Tank to step up. I hope so. We're late enough in the season where rookies are starting to be experienced, relatively. So, yeah, let's see it, Tank. And then Tank's not a bad back. He just got to hold on to the football. And we know that. We were not going to harp on that, but it is what it is. Jag Gator says, why is Ingram never used in the middle of the field and 10 to 15-yard range? I think they try. I mean, every time he doesn't get the ball, I think he's doing that route concept, but he just is more open, or Trevor sees him more when he's releasing out to the flat or crossing over the middle. They do a lot of crossers with him. That way they give Trevor time to read the zone or the man, and I think Trevor likes to hold on to the ball a little bit longer, maybe create time with his feet, and then just by then Ingram's open more to the flats or to the corners or outside the hashes. Volkfang says, it could be worse. Up here we have Pitt, which is not big boy football, to quote one of my former professors, and Penn State, who can't beat any real competition. Oof, that's tough. Then again, professors are typically the last people that follow sports because they're educators. So don't put too much stock into that. Here's some more interesting things from the defense. Again, I'm not that impressed with the Browns' defense the last couple of weeks. All I heard was about Myles Garrett's 13 sacks and how they held the Ravens to like 20 points, something like that. I'm not impressed. I'm really not that impressed. I mean, watch here. Juan Thorhill, the corner. I mean, he's going to get absolutely beat on this corner route. He's playing safety. That's bad. I mean, when you're a pre-snap safety in a cover 2, you read, 2 to 1. Okay, he doesn't have a 2 over here, so he's just got 1. So his threats are a middle-of-the-field tight end, a deep middle-of-the-field Cooper Kupp, or a vertical or a corner from this number 1 receiver on the right. He has it all in front of him. So pre-snap for this corner here, he's sitting pretty as cover 2 right here. At this point, He knows now his only responsibility is this one receiver. How are you not getting leverage on this receiver here? Not good. I mean, that's an easy pitch. Oh, my bad. Look at me. I'm a rookie, dude. I'm a rookie. All right, let me restart this here. All right. Right here. Juan Thorhill. He's playing cover 2 safety. His responsibility is this half of the field, right? So his threat, when you're a defensive back, we'll circle him again, especially a safety. You establish your threats pre-snap, okay? Who can beat you? Who can hurt you? So you have to analyze the receivers, especially in this is a passing situation, you're in gun, all of this. So your immediate threat is a vertical from this one on the left side because you are the left side half of field safety. Secondary threat is a post from this tight end. Third threat is like a deep long post here from Cooper Kupp. So you know what your threats are here. Shouldn't be that difficult. Couple seconds into the snap, he knows now what his threats are. He's only got one threat. The one wide receiver on the left is his only threat right here. Okay, so he just has to stay over the top of this one wide receiver. All he's got to do is stay even with him here. He knows the corner can kill him. He knows the post can kill him. Just out of position. Watch it again. That's just slow reaction time. So I see Calvin Ridley and all those things doing that there. Seaton Sesko. Seaton, I don't know if I've told you in a while, you're one of the best refs I've ever encountered in my life. Top ref. I mean, I can't think of any refs better than you, and I look forward to seeing you in the spring, hopefully. Hopefully look forward to seeing you in the spring. Here's another, again, this Browns defense, which is so amazing, right? Martin Emerson playing corner out here on the outside, who I saw get beat over and over and over again, okay? So here he's lined up in coverage here. It looks like he's in man. He's lined up close. Could be a cover 3 if he bails. I don't know what it is. They just beat. Just absolutely beat. He's got to tackle him. Because, that's a 50-yard pass interference right there. Doesn't get his hands on him. Does a poor job pressing with his feet if he's going to do it that way. At least he's smart enough to make the tackle here, but that's poor defense. And if you're a team that's gonna can't run the ball, and the Jags and the Browns are going to play this press man to force you to throw it, you got to throw it over the top like this, and that makes me feel pretty good about that. Jaguars says, cancel the Manning cast on Monday night. It's Jaguars United show on Monday Night Football now. If I could show the game, I would do that. But YouTube doesn't let you stream the game, which makes sense. The NFL has copyright. It's their product. I get it. But I would definitely do that. Maybe one day I'll have a job that's like that. You never know. You never know. Life happens in weird ways. You got to work hard. How many of you at your age now, and some of you may be young, some of you may be older, but how many of you at your age now thought you would be where you're at now? Probably none of us. If you look back at the good opportunities that you have now, you could probably trace them back to hard work. And nobody wants to work hard. So work hard. Work hard, and your life might not go the way that you think it should, but if you do work hard, you'll look back and be like, oh, I ended up where I needed to. So that's going to be our plan, boys. Not just me, not just you, me, everyone in the chat. We're going to work hard starting tomorrow on the weekend at whatever we're doing, and you're going to look back and you're going to see things worked out the way they were supposed to. Impromptu life lesson right there. Volkfang says, impressive stats, but the start of their schedule were some really unimpressive offenses. 100 miles per hour, who's a channel member, says, so late, but cut Tank. He may be our only healthy running back, 100 miles per hour. We may be bringing James Robinson back at this point. If Dearness Johnson is banged up and Travis Etienne is banged up, that's all we have is Tank. Seaton, when does your season start? I think it's in the spring. I think our soccer starts in the spring. I want to say probably March, maybe. March. Could you beat Trevor Lawrence in a pickleball tournament? No, I could not. Trevor Lawrence is good at pickleball, and I don't play pickleball. What could I beat Trevor in? Probably the only thing I could beat Trevor Lawrence in is talking for an hour straight without stopping. It's probably the only thing I could beat him in. And he probably could do that if he wanted to. He probably could. 100 miles per hour says, I thought I would be dead at 18 and I'm 22 now. Congrats, 100 miles per hour. Congrats. Jason, you should stream the game. Gets mad at engagement and we would watch. I can't. I'm not allowed to stream the game. It's illegal. Snoop Connor is better than Tank Bigsby, says 100 miles per hour. I refuse to believe that. Robert Atras says, the only person you can count on is yourself. Hopefully you can find someone in your life that you can partner with, whether it be a wife or a best friend or a family member. But at the end of the day, Robert, you might be onto something. This is them, the defense again, giving up a huge post route in the middle of the field. Like, what is this? Where's this amazing defense that I've been hearing all about? Because their secondary looked really bad against the Rams. And just for the icing on the cake, Twinkle Toes Dustin Hopkins from 34 yards away. Now, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened on this play. If we take it back and look here, watch this. A clear miss. Clear miss. And watch both the refs at the bottom here. Okay. Like, it's their job to look up at the goal post and to call it no good or good. They both say no good. Then we see, and again, I didn't watch the broadcast. I just watched the All-22. They're kicking off. And they gave him the field goal. So I don't know what happened. I don't know but I guess he made it. But I don't know. Chris W. says Myles Garrett has similar stats to Josh Allen, but this is what I'm trying to tell you, Chris. Over the last 2 weeks, Myles Garrett has not been that good. I mean, let's take a look here at the look at the PFF defensive grades here. Yeah, I mean, he was third on the team with a 69. They played terrible defense against the Rams. Now, maybe this is a one-off game like the Jags had against the Bengals. But they did not have a good game on defense. Myles Garrett didn't record a single tackle in 56 snaps. I don't know. Not good on the back with Mike Ford, Greg Newsome. Juan Thorhill had a bad game. Not good games here, man. Not good games. Let's look at Myles Garrett over the last couple of weeks here. Again, take a look here. I mean, great game. But 3 out of the last 4 have been not good games. He had 2 sacks this week, but his run defensive grade was terrible. He had 2 sacks the week before, but the last 2 weeks, 0 sacks. And they were on the road. Yeah, he's been injured. But is he cooling off? I want to hope so. I really do want to hope so a lot. My fantasy kicker, everyone, says Raw Chiefs. 100 miles per hour says Ezra Cleveland first ever NFL start at tackle versus Myles Garrett. What can go wrong? I don't know what to tell you. I mean, hopefully the Jags they'll have a game plan to get the ball out of their hands quick from the quarterbacks. Draw plays would be great here. Throwing it to the flat quickly. I mean, we saw against the Rams, they weren't good in that quick passing. And even, I don't know, man. They double-teamed Myles Garrett a lot. We're just got the double team. 2 guys on Myles Garrett every single play. I don't care what the coverage is. I don't care what the pre-snap audible is. I don't care what the pocket movement is. Double team. Every single time. C. Breacher says, do you think the Colts and the Texans have a legitimate chance at catching up? Yes! C. Breacher. We're 1 game ahead with a quarterback who's got a hurt knee and a hurt ankle and a left tackle who's not playing and a number 1 wide receiver who's not playing and a number 2 wide receiver who drops the ball. So, yes. And that Colts team with Gardner Minshew is looking good. Volkfang says, we were cursed having to watch the Steelers on Thursday night. Cleveland has played them twice. Surely that is a boon to any team's stats. They also played the Cardinals, which they didn't give up a single point up against. That also helps their stats. 100 miles per hour says, I'm super late, but what do you think of Parker Washington? I feel like we will genuinely see Tim Jones in the slot more than Parker. I don't know, man. I think they like Parker Washington. I like Parker Washington. Parker Washington's been injured all year. He hasn't played a lot of games. So last week was his first game of getting real action, and he played well. I kind of said it earlier. I don't expect him to have another game like that, but I hope he does. That catch he made in the end zone was great. So I hope so, to answer your question. Will Rouse says Garrett has a shoulder injury and their top corner has been out. I mean, that's the thing, man. I was talking about it on the Tuesday night show when we thought Trevor has been out for a while. Every team deals with injuries to their superstars. We're playing a team. We've played our opponent last week in the Bengals and our opponent this week with the Browns. Both lost their franchise quarterbacks for the entire season. It happens. You'd be hard-pressed to find a team in the NFL whose quarterback hasn't suffered a significant injury in the last 2 years. You look at a team like the Chiefs and the Eagles, they've escaped it, and they've been good. Look at every other team, though. Every other team has had to go to backup quarterbacks. It's a next man up league, and this happens every single year. You look out on the field late in the season, and you're like, I didn't even know if that guy was going to make the team, and now he's starting. That's the NFL, man. That's the NFL. And if you're going to be a competitive team, you got to win with backups. That's the bottom line. It doesn't matter if you're the Jags or the Browns. Remember we played the Bills? Everybody but their quarterback was hurt. So, 100 miles per hour says zone run from shotgun on 3rd and 1 is my favorite play. No, it's not 100 miles per hour. Chef Florida Boy says, I like Cleveland better than Walker Little. I just like Cleveland at guard. If Cleveland is starting at tackle, should Trevor be starting? I think if there's no legitimate chance at him hurting himself further, Trevor has to start. But if there is, I say sit him. But again, the training staff, the coach, and Trevor are going to make the best decision for the team. I am confident in that. 100 miles per hour says no Montana, but Trevor isn't really human, so I don't know. He's not human. I think back to, I don't know if you guys remember this, when in the national championship game, on the first drive of the game, he took a helmet-to-helmet hit from a blitzing safety that would have killed anyone here in the chat, including myself. Would have killed us. I mean, the kid got ejected. It was a gruesome helmet-to-helmet hit, launching. Trevor goes out for 2 plays and comes back. He's been this his entire career. This is not something that he just turned on in the pros. He has been this type of player his entire career. He is just blessed with bones and joints that heal and are strong. And thank God, because he's our quarterback. So, Chris W. says, Jags win 5 straight. I sure hope so. Jag Gator says, Bengals fans were screaming at Trevor's family all game, and then when he got hurt, they were screaming for him to die. Cops took him away. Can't stand fans like that. Every fan base has fans like that. Jags probably do too. Some fringe fans that are inappropriate. Can't judge an entire fan base on the annoying fans. The annoying fans are the loudest, so it's hard not to. But we're going to be better people than that, and we're going to be fair. Jordan Roberts says, first time catching you live. Jordan, welcome. I appreciate that. I love that, man. Thank you for being here. It's a fan show, so I haven't gone down to the comments yet, but get in here and tell me what you think. The real question, this is from 100 miles per hour, says here, it will be if Ezra Cleveland is locked down at tackle, now we got 4 tackles, no center or guard. Washington State Jags fan. Washington Jags fan is a celebrity around here. Thank you, Washington State Jags fan, for all you've contributed over the years. He says, hard time dealing with Monday's loss. Let's get rolling again. The road in the playoffs may be a blessing considering all of our losses have been at home. I don't know if that's... I don't know if like playing at home is... I don't know, man. I don't know how to think about that. It can't be they play bad at home every single time. It can't be that. It can't be when they play at Everbank Stadium that they play bad. I just can't believe that. Now, have we had some bad luck? Has the coin flipped the opposite side too often? Maybe. I'm a probability guy. You guys know that. It can't be that. It can't be the fact that when they're home, playing on their home field, in front of their home fans, they play bad every single time. I just can't believe that. Jaggernaut says, hey, Jags United. How's it going, man? It's going good. This week kind of dragged. Maybe I was depressed on Tuesday, like we all were. And then got excited when Trevor was playing. Work was all right. I do a lot of fundraising at my job. And part of the fundraising that we did today, I had to take 2 pies to the face. So that's what I dealt with today. I was pulling whipped cream out of my nose for a couple hours, but we raised a lot of money, so it was worth it. He says, late to the party, but does Trevor play this week? Thanks, dude. I hope so. He's a man of steel, so Superman does things that most people can't. Jordan Roberts says, anybody concerned about Roy Robertson Harris? We re-signed him and has been an ultimate dud, in my opinion. Here's the saving grace on RRH. He picked up a lot of steam the last 4 to 5 weeks of the season last year and played really well in the playoffs last year. So maybe that'll happen again. We kind of had the same conversation about him last year around this time, and then he kind of started popping off. So maybe that'll happen again. Let's hope for that. Aaron Rodgers is probably begging Trevor for his rehab plan. Yeah, right. Hamilton too. Hamilton has been hurt, Jaggernaut. I get it. I know. It's tough, man. It's hard to be an NFL player. Chef Florida Boy says 49ers Chiefs game was a home game for the opposing team. That's only because we were playing bad. If we were playing good and we were winning, Jags fans would have been... And that 49ers game, I was at that 49ers game. Yes, there was a lot of 49ers fans there. But the Jags didn't give us a single thing to cheer about. So why would we cheer? We were getting destroyed. So I get it, but you have to give the fans something to cheer about. And they know that. They address that in their post-game and all that. And they want to play well here. They do. Nobody wants to play well here more than they do. I promise you. Devon Hamilton is just not in shape because of all his injuries. Yeah, he's had some weird stuff. Jaggernaut, I appreciate you answering. Jaggernaut, I appreciate you being here, man. Come on. I appreciate you. Fire God Flores says, just watched a YouTube video about Trevor being a descendant of Achilles. The only issue with that is, and I think I know my Greek mythology, is if he was a descendant of Achilles, then he would have a bad Achilles, which we don't want because that injury is bad. So I get it. I get what you're saying. But let's not have an Achilles. That's where the term Achilles heels come from. Yeah, and I know you know that. That's good. That's a good pull there. Good reference there. All right, boys. That's gonna wrap it up for me tonight. I appreciate y'all being here. I had a good time talking Jags tonight. Hopefully you guys are pumped as I am. We got over the Monday night game. We're here now. We're ready. We're excited. We're gonna be ready for this game on Sunday. Yes, the weather's gonna be bad. Yes, Trevor's injured. Every lower body joint he has is injured. But we still have a good team. Like, we still have a really, really good team, okay? Even with the injuries. Our depth is good. Our players are good. So I'm not worried about it, okay? Like, every team's injured. We got to play up to the competition. I appreciate all you guys being here. I know I say this every week, but like I just hope it hits home. It means a lot to me that you guys are here. It really does. I love talking Jags. It's my favorite thing to do, and I would not be able to do that without you guys. So thank you to everyone that commented. I really appreciate it. All the channel members, 100 miles per hour, brought it tonight. Sea Breacher was here all night. Washington State Jags fan, Volk Fang. We had all kind of, Shay was in here. We had all kind of channel members in here tonight. Montana gave another $2. I appreciate that. RM Skip, not leaving you out, RM Skip. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys on Tuesday night when we do our live show breakdown of the Jaguars win against the Browns. I'm going to jump on Twitch in a little bit, in a few minutes. So if you want to talk to some more Jags there a little more informally, that's where I'll be. Good talking to you guys. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. And until then, as always, go Jags.
Sunrise, another night with no sleep, and I had lost sight of my American dream. Wake up, pretty girl, get on with your feet and leave me here with my endeavors to be held. No matter how hard I try, oh good Lord, I feel my cup and ran dry. I teach, preach, but all that I see here is peace, love in the generation.